Hi everyone, Selena for Who is Jesus Today, and I like to just open up to people around the world who represent the body of Christ, the church, the redeemed. That maybe the Lord will put in your heart to pray for a nation, any nation. I'm not making any specifics. Suggestions, although there are a few that I could mention. They're in my heart, and I realize that you cannot believe everything you hear, of course, on social media. You cannot. At the same time, there is some valid information out there, because I think that it is good if you want to know about a country, it isn't enough just to read about it, right? Or a population, or what are the issues that they are facing. It isn't enough just to open up your encyclopedia, although that is helpful, because when you are getting your source of information from scholarly sources, you can actually consider it to be more credible. So there's also a Google Scholarly, where you can find information that is more credible, and you can follow through and get different types of sources and references that way on any topic. There's the free library online, which came in handy when lots of institutions were shut down during 2020, 2021. Because I actually was doing some studies, and I needed access to the free library online at times. So I'm saying that I'm not trying to turn you into, say, a cultural and history students, but it is good if you feel led to pray, and you are called to, for any a particular person, country, or population, that you will have an idea of what are some of the situations that exist for that community. Of course, for all of you travelers out there, you know that one of the best ways to know is to travel and to live amongst the communities, and to engage with the populations, and to know what are their needs and struggles, and the things that are the situations that confront their lives daily that you can pray about. I'm saying this because God has put in my heart different nations and populations of the world, and wants me to keep in mind their needs, intercede. I do keep up with the persecuted church. I from time to time, I've been getting information that I believe is credible from Voice of the Martyrs. So that's also a resource there. For me, I say that it is good. I grew up around different populations and diversity, so I have had the opportunity, along with working, as some of you may know, I've said this before, I've spent some years working with refugee populations. Yes, I did. And I was really I was helping them to be able to settle in the United States of America, and to gain skills that would make them more employable, so they could survive in their new home, the U.S., and their cities. But I learned a lot from them. So I have to say that I got a wealth of education and information from people who were looking to me to educate them about how to survive, as well as, most importantly, right, language skills, to develop a fluent English language skills. And that has afforded me to learn a lot about people from various places. I remember I had for a little while a strong connection with the people of Cambodia and the needs of Cambodia and the civil war that occurred in Cambodia in the 80s, and how I've had people in my classroom who were affected by that, and they explained to me the loss of their loved ones. And yeah, and so that's a way to learn about a people. If you cannot get to the exact country, if you cannot get on a plane and travel somewhere, if you happen to run into people from those places, and you are open to let them tell you their story and not tell them what you think they have experienced or who they are, you can learn a whole lot of information that is credible, because a whole lot of times they're going to tell you their true situations. You see, it's good to travel, but sometimes when you are you might have those travelers who will focus on a lot of the tourist attractions, which we like to see, especially if you're planning to be a tourist. But sometimes, though, if you have some of those travelers that are going to show you not just the tourist attractions and the more, say, affluent parts of town, but they're going to show you how many of the locals are living and surviving in the most difficult parts of the city and the region. It's like, when you think about, say, New York, I do too. My mind thinks about Rockefeller Center, Radio City Hall, Central Park West, okay, Central Park, okay, yeah, what else is, did I say, the Radio City Hall area, and it's amazing what I've forgotten. Oh yeah, it depends. Park Avenue, Fifth Avenue, and Brooklyn Grand Army Plaza. Yeah, the Brooklyn Museum of Natural History, Central Park West up there, like in the 80s. But you have to be honest, right? If you're going to be honest with a person, you need to let them know this is one side of New York, but allow me to tell you about the other sides. And some of them I don't know, by the way. I have not personally experienced, even myself, but I've heard about it. The same, you want to take a trip to this country, and you're going to try and get the travel books and watch the videos that's going to show you some of the safer and nicer parts of town. But you have to also, and it would be good to invest in knowing how so many truly live. And that is, if you are one that can, say, resonate with what I'm talking about, you have a heart that you want to pray for the needs of the society and to get a true depiction of some of the hardships that are going on, not just the tourist sites. Then, honestly, if you have the opportunity to talk to people, the next best thing to traveling there and being there around them is at least having the opportunity to engage with people from various places. And that is if you feel that burden and that calling. And for me, that actually has been a calling in my heart from my youth, okay? And so I just wanted to say that I encourage any of you out there, my subscribers or viewers, if you can resonate that God's put in your heart the desire to pray for needs and for spiritual breakthrough and for strongholds to come down. And you have also become, say, familiar with some of the principalities and the strongholds over different regions of the world. And though it's like, a stronghold is a stronghold, but they are different based on populations and communities and cultures. You see? So what they are facing in East New York, Brooklyn, is going to be different than what is being faced in the northern part of Nigeria. Okay, that's right. Or in Helsinki, Finland. Right. Okay. Or in Santiago, Chile. In Kingston, Jamaica. It's very different. It's very different. And we are dealing with opposition and attacks on people and communities that are a part of the societies that they're living in. That includes history, that includes government, that includes politics, and that includes how the majority of the locals live. And so, yeah, I think if we want to know these things, there are definitely enough resources out there. Online, there are some good things. There are some things you cannot trust. But there are some more scholarly and credible references that you could also say sources out there as well. And if you happen to be so fortunate to come across a person from certain places, you can engage with them if it's appropriate and find out more. So I am speaking to those who have a heart for travel, for those who have traveled, be it for mission or for leisure, for those who would like to. And if you cannot get on a plane, there are still other ways that you can learn about societies. And if you are also called to have a heart to intercede, I call it intercession, for different regions of the world, there are ways to learn more about them, other than, of course, if you were to actually travel there. I'm going to mention a place that needs prayer right now that a whole lot of people know about. It won't be a surprise. And may the Lord guide some of you and me on really a concern and a heart to pray for other people of Haiti. And it's just there needs to be some intervention where the other society becomes more stabilized and functionable and safer for the locals. Nothing is ever fully safe. Nothing is, is going to be, a walk in the park. Okay, that's not really happening in the most, say, a stable, affluent, or nice part of the world. There are going to be issues, but when we have a society where people in general cannot really say function just to survive and to stay afloat with their homes and family and famine, such as a place called Haiti. And there's been difficult times throughout the history, but there have also been better times than what they are experiencing now. So think about that. It's been a ongoing struggles, but there has been some better times. Okay? And you may have a heart to pray and to know how to be open up more to the Uyghur people in China and the need of Christians there. And I have pointed out this a couple of times. Christians up in northern Nigeria, okay, they could use a prayer, and there's more information you can find out about them. And yes, and I have lived in Colombia, and I do know other needs that are centered around that country. But I particularly know the city that I spent a time in, which is called Popayan. And so there are people out there that also can relate to that. And so, yeah, prayer for New York City, the things that are happening there, the city of Chicago, Los Angeles, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Times Square, New York. Different strongholds. Okay? And for other places where people think a life is good, it's easy, there's wealth, those places. You know, a place that needs intercession, whoever God will call, some of you are called, is Hollywood. Hollywood. The lifestyles of the rich and famous, we all know it isn't a bed of roses, and it's not as sweet and fun as it sometimes look. There's a lot of darkness. But let's put it this way. In all the places I've called out and more, where sin abound, grace even more abounds. And so some of you are led to be called to a specific place on the map and intercede. There is such a place in God, such a walk and lifestyle and calling. And if this resonates with you, then I want to encourage you. Go for it in God and let Him lead and guide you how to learn more about the places that you're called to pray for. There are ways to find out. Okay, that's it for now, and I'll end with this. Lead me, Lord, and I will follow. Where He leads me, I will follow. I'm sure that is also the heart of many of you that will come across this video. Thank you for listening. You can like and subscribe. Until next time, Shalom.